Hello friends, today we are going to discuss the topic of testing of DC motor. In this video, we discuss the main table contains are type of testing of a DC motor, direct method of testing of DC motor, Swinburne method, regenerative or Hopkinson method for testing of a DC motor. The type of this motor are generally divided in three parts: direct method, indirect method, and regenerative method. In order to check the performance such as efficiency, regulation, losses, change in speed, condition of commutation, temperature etc., the machine may be tested by direct method, indirect method or regenerative method. In the direct method of testing, in this method the machine is directly connected with the load or pulley and brake arrangement is provided, or electrical load may be connected in form of calibrated machine. The brake test and calibrated machine test are the example of direct test. In the indirect method of testing, as the name suggests, load is not connected directly on the machine, but it is a run on a no load, and the data contained from the no load test is used to find the efficiency, losses, etc. at the different load. The Swinburne test is the example of indirect test. And the third one is regenerative method of testing. The two machines are electrically and mechanically connected together, and output of second machine is feedback of the first machine, which save the power of testing. The Hopkinson test or back-to-back test is an example of a regenerative test. Now all the method we discussed all method in detail. The first method is brake test or direct method test. This direct method test of the machine are shown in this figure. The machine gradually loads from no load to full load. The pulley is fitted on the shaft of the motor. The leather bed brake, the tension of which is adjusted on the pulley, is supported around the pulley is shown in this figure. The output of the machine is converted into the heat due to the friction between the bend, brake and pulley. The output is wasted, therefore the only small machine up to 5 kV can be tested by this method. Here is the circuit diagram of the brake test or direct method test, and efficiency equations are shown in this slide. Here we discuss the procedure of the brake test. In the first contain to connect the appropriate range of the meters and proper polarities of this machine. Now we see the belt is loose initially of a shunt or compound motor, but tight in the case of a series motor. Keep rheostat is a minimum position and switch on the supply and start the motor with the help of starter. Adjust the speed of the motor is to rated value and take down the reading of the meter for no load. With the help of hand, we'll adjust the load to take the brake pulley to the restore the no load condition. Now keep the source is constant throughout the experiment as far as possible. Here we note down that the meter reading and spring balance is reading. See, there is a sufficient water and hollow pulley of a cooling purpose. After taking the reading up to the full load condition, gradually reduce the load and reduce the speed and stop the motor. Now with care to be taken here the reading within the short time, otherwise there is a possibility of burning out the belt due to the heat produced in the friction. Here are some conclude the precautions and disadvantages also. The main precautions is the brake should be sufficient tight or in a DC series motor, and main disadvantages is the size of motor is restricted and spring balance are not strict. Now we going for the Swinburne method testing. This is an indirect method of testing. It's used in a shunt or compound motor. In this test, the machine is not loaded actually, but the machine is run on no load. Very large capacity machine which cannot be tested with the actual load can be tested by this method. Its performance characteristics is determined by using data obtained from such tests. Losses and efficiency can be found at the restored load by calculation. This test, this test is also called as no load test or light running test. Here are the figures of the Swinburne test. This is a practical or circuit diagram of the Swinburne test figure. In this slide, here the efficiency calculation equations are also shown in this slide. Here are some advantages and also disadvantages of the Swinburne test. The main advantages of the Swinburne test is required very less power and constant losses are known. Efficiency of the Swinburne test can be predetermined at any load. Here are some disadvantages like iron losses is neglected. Next is we can't be sure about the satisfactory commutation on the loaded condition. Next is we can't measure the temperature rises when the machine is loaded. And last one is the DC series motor, the Swinburne test can't be done. Now we going for the Hopkinson method testing. Here are the figure of the Hopkinson test. This is the practical figure of the Hopkinson test. This test is also called as regenerative method testing or second machine output feed of the input side of the first machine and the saving the power of the testing of the machine. Generally, for this type of test, two ideal machines are required. Both machines are mechanically coupled together as well as electrically coupled together. One machine started as a motor and mechanical output drives to the second machine as a generator. The electrical output of the generator is supplied back to the motor. If there were no losses in the combination would run without any external power. But in the actual cases, both machines have losses and hence the power taken from the supply is only the supply of the losses. In this figure, here are the practical figure of the Hopkinson test. Here are also equation and efficiency calculation in this figure. The motor in this figure, the motor is mechanically coupled to the generator. Motor is connected to the electrical supply and electrical output of the generator is also connected to the motor. These sets are started by switching on electric supply to the motor. The motor runs and drives to the generator. Generator develops the electrical power which again feed back to the motor. The requirement of the set is 100 watt. Initially, the 100 watts drawn from the supply. Once the generator delivers the output of 80 watts, the motor will draw the 20 watts from the supply. In this machine, there are also some advantages and disadvantages. Here are some advantages and disadvantages of Hopkinson test. In the advantages like it is very small power required. Next is temperature rises and commutation can be observed. The last one is changes in iron losses due to the flux distortion can be taken out into account due to the advantages of full load condition. These are the advantages. Now we going for the disadvantages like it is difficult to find two identical machines. Next is both machines can't be loaded equally at the same time. Next is it is not possible to get a separate iron losses for the two machines. And the last one is it is difficult to operate the machine at rated speed because the field current is very widely. Here are the some references which is video are concluded. Thank you friends.